How many releases with a semi-permanent release system? So the million-dollar question is always, how many releases am I going to get with a semi-permanent release system? Several factors determine how many releases will be obtained before reapplication of the release agent is required. Number one is mold condition. The smoother a mold, the more releases will be obtained compared to a mold that is not as smooth. A mold that is sanded to 2000 grit and polished to a high gloss will obtain more releases than the same mold sanded to 200 grit with a medium gloss. A mold that is free of styrene monomer buildup will achieve many more releases than the same mold that has styrene fouling. Molds with missing tooling gel coat or molds with cracked gel coats will achieve fewer releases than the same mold in a newer condition. The next is geometry. Molds with simple geometry will achieve more releases than molds with complex geometry. Male molds will generally achieve fewer releases than a female mold of the same geometry. A flat mold will achieve the maximum number of release agents because they have no geometry. Molds with 90-degree angles or radii will achieve fewer releases than molds with a more gradual radius. Molds that use a production gel coat will achieve more releases than the same part without a gel coat. RTM A-faced molds will achieve 50% more releases than a B-faced mold. Sealer versus non-sealer. A mold that has two properly applied sealers and is allowed to achieve 100% cross-linking will achieve more releases than a mold that does not use two coats of sealer. Degree of cross-linking of the release agent. A new or reconditioned mold will normally achieve more release cycles than a mold that just had a reapplication. There is normally no rush to put a new mold into service, and the sealer and the release agent coats are typically allowed to sit overnight. An overnight cure, regardless of the ambient temperatures, will achieve 100% cross-linking compared to a mold that had a release agent reapplied and is put back into service within 30 minutes. 100% cross-linking of the sealer and the release agent will achieve a harder film thickness than a release agent that is 70% cross-linked. The harder the release film is, the more release cycles can be obtained. Applicator training. Companies that hire an entry-level release agent applicator and do not provide adequate training achieve fewer releases than a well-trained and supervised applicator. Abrasion. Molds or processes that contribute to abrasion will achieve fewer than optimal releases. This includes not providing adequate clothing to the operators where it is necessary to walk on the mold surface to apply the release agent. This also includes overutilizing wedges and sledgehammers to effect a release. Not having the appropriate material handling equipment to remove the part from the mold, which results in sliding the part over the mold surface and accidentally removing the release agent. Best practice operating conditions for release cycles include environmentally controlled temperatures, a well-trained workforce, optimal curing of the sealer and the release agent, optimal curing of the laminate, appropriate material handling, and keeping the mold clean and free of styrene buildup. A rough gauge for the number of releases are as follows. Flat panels, 40 to 50 releases before reapplication. Swimming pools, 30 plus releases before reapplication. Female tanks, 30 plus releases. Male tanks, 15 plus releases. RTM truck tops, A-faced, 30 plus releases. B-faced, 15. Motorhome front and rear caps, 10 to 15 releases before reapplication. Cast polymer vanity tops, 30 plus releases before reapplication. Boat hulls, 30 plus releases. And boat decks, 15 plus releases.